Okay guys, you may want to put your kids to bed with this one because today we're going to talk about how OnlyFans made $6.6 billion with a B without Apple's App Store. So apparently, I guess they relied on Apple's App Store heavily. We're going to find out. But nonetheless, who knows what they're going to talk about in this video. If you're not familiar with OnlyFans, you will be very soon. So just put your kids to sleep and let's get into it.
OnlyFans has managed to do what many other businesses have failed at. It took a product people were used to accessing for free, adult content, and convinced them to pay for it.
The business model of being naked online was fairly broken. They managed to piece it together to some degree.
In just 4 years, the company's revenue grew more than 2,000%, bringing in $6.6 billion in 2023.
Now, other social media platforms, they're like, ooh, we can do subscriptions too. It's like, yes, but subscriptions is only part of the picture.
There's a lot of people out there just think you just take some sexy pictures in lingerie and you just post it, let the money roll in. And it's so much more complicated than that.
Despite looking like other social media platforms, OnlyFans' underlying business model is different.
It seems like OnlyFans' approach has just been to figure out what the legal line is and then stop several paces short of it.
That's why the platform isn't on major app stores, and the company says it's built a deliberately hard-to-use search function. Now it's capitalizing on a creator economy in flux to build a new type of social media. This is the economics of OnlyFans.
Let me know in the comments, did any of you know that OnlyFans was not on the App Store? I had no idea. I mean, I don't use OnlyFans, probably why I don't have any idea. And I guess if you told me in the comment section, you'd be telling me, you'd be revealing yourself, so maybe not. But yeah, I didn't know that Apple and maybe Google Play doesn't have OnlyFans available, but it makes sense to an extent.
One of the things that got me really interested in the business model was just how different from social media it was.
Most social media companies like Facebook and Instagram make their money from advertisers, but OnlyFans makes all of its money directly from its creators. And its creators make money directly from fans.
We only make money when creators make money.
Creators can charge fans up to $50 a month for their content, much of which is explicit, some isn't. The company takes a 20% cut, and creators take the rest, which is more straightforward than other platforms that share a percentage of ad revenue once your account meets certain criteria. Now,
I'm learning something already. I think you are too. So I didn't realize that. It obviously all makes sense. It all is very, obvious now that I'm hearing it, but I didn't realize that OnlyFans didn't have ads on it. Obviously, I get why they don't have ads on it, because what company wants to advertise their products and services on a platform where the primary type of content being created is XXX content? So I get that, because I know Kellogg's and Coca-Cola and Nike, they're not going to want to show their running commercials or their cereal commercials next to, people doing things. So I get that. But it's interesting. And it's also interesting how they said OnlyFans was able to take something that people normally watch for free, XXX content, and make them pay for it. If I'm not mistaken, there are paid versions of, I don't want to keep on saying XXX content. There are paid versions of explicit content available that people pay for. So it's not as if it's a completely novel idea. I think the unique thing about OnlyFans is that it's independent creators. And, which I think they'll get into, which I know about OnlyFans is, I know that creators of OnlyFans can interact directly with their subscribers or whatever they're called, their followers, unlike with, let's say, studio content. So interesting, with $6.6 billion, that's in 4 years, crazy.
OnlyFans didn't invent the idea of revenue sharing, but it had timing on its side. Other websites already existed that allowed creators to monetize their content directly from fans. A couple years after OnlyFans' launch in 2016, social platforms like Tumblr restricted adult content. Then, in 2020, things really took off. The platform doesn't have nearly as many users as Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, but there's a big difference. They're on most app stores. OnlyFans isn't.
OnlyFans sort of has to be swimming against the current, and they have to do this because Apple's terms of service do not allow for pornography as a full-time thing.
That was a decision made by us because we were hopeful that we would end up processing a large amount of payment volume.
By not being on the app stores, OnlyFans doesn't pay Apple and Google a 15 to 30% cut on all transactions made on an app.
That's enabled us to keep our 80-20 monetization split, which is fundamental to how we do business. If we had to give 30% of our 20% to somebody else, that may change the economics for us.
OnlyFans has paid its creators $20 billion to date. That's more than quadruple the payouts of Patreon, another creator subscription platform that's been around longer.
We now have 4 million creators, 300 million fans worldwide. Not being on the App Store has not had a negative impact on growth.
As much as OnlyFans is very different from other social media platforms, it is also symbiotic. Where do all the fans for an OnlyFans account come from? And the answer is overwhelmingly other social media platforms. So what OnlyFans is doing is basically outsourcing to content creators the job of recruiting their own customers.
You've got to do the groundwork. If I'm not making content.
Wow, this is crazy. And I've seen this, we've all seen this. You go on Instagram or YouTube and you might come across a certain page and it's of a attractive person and you're like, okay, you click on it or it comes up on your feed or whatever. And then you see the little thing at the top of their IG page, a link tree. Or if you click into their YouTube channel, you'll see there's a link to something else. And a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but sometimes it's to OnlyFans. So OnlyFans has got lucky to an extent. I don't think they planned for all this to happen, but I think that it's just a series of events that made it to where they are super profitable. They don't have to pay the app stores any money. They don't have to do much advertising, if any, because first of all, advertisers, you get the idea. All their independent artists or performers or content creators, they do their own advertising and they do a lot of their advertising on these platforms that don't allow explicit content to be made and then drive all that traffic back to OnlyFans. Man, they're making money hand over fist and they have few expenses besides paying their content creators. So, I mean, wow, I'm just shocked about how, I knew it was profitable, but I didn't realize how profitable it was and the amount of money that they're actually pocketing.
And, you know, I'm on a site messaging, I'm doing all my advertising, the marketing, everything. Like, I might watch half an hour of TV, maybe, if I'm lucky, you know, and sleep.
In 2021, OnlyFans launched OFTV, a safe-for-work streaming platform, as another marketing tool for its creators. But
in order to monetize on OnlyFans, really you need to have an existing fan base that you're seeking to monetize. It's quite a hard platform to start off from scratch.
That's because the company says algorithm-driven search recommendations don't exist on the platform. Say you want to find creators who post yoga content. It said a simple search for yoga won't get you very far. Instead, you'd have to search the exact username you're looking for to get any results. But it's not quite that simple. We tried searching for yoga and got a lot of results suggesting different creators. And OnlyFans does have a homepage promoting different creators' content and a suggested account section, which the company says are the most popular accounts at the time and aren't personalized based on users' previously viewed content or personal data. Still, the company relies on other social media platforms to bring users in.
It would not be possible for them to have succeeded to the scale they had if creators hadn't been able to sort of harness virality in social media, even as that was something that OnlyFans itself rejected for its own platform.
There are moments, for some reason, you'll have like a dip and then you'll question everything. And then, like, you know, I'll have content go viral again on Instagram and be like, oh, maybe I am actually good at this.
As the platform has continued to develop, we added the ability to tip, to have pay-per-view messaging, to have paid direct messaging, to have paid live streams, and paid voice notes, basically a million different ways to consume and to pay for content.
Today,
Okay, so as I understand it, this is the way that a lot of these top creators on OnlyFans make a lot of their money. They don't make it necessarily from the number of subscribers they have, although that does bring in a lot of revenue if they have a lot of subscribers. And let's say each subscriber is paying $25 a month and they have 300 subscribers, you do the math. That's a lot of money per month. But from what I've learned, most of their money comes from people paying for these extras, for sending voice notes, private messages, pay-per-view, comments that they go back and forth with the creator with that they may have to pay for, exclusive content they have to add extra tips for. I mean, this is like a cash printing machine. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, I see why a lot of these creators are getting on this platform and doing what they do because the money is just rolling in. Now, again, not all these creators make this kind of money. That's another thing. So, and that's what they said too. If you're not, so it's not just easy as you're an attractive person, you create an account and you lay back. From what I'm understanding is you have to really be marketing yourself heavy on these other platforms in order to build a following to drive that traffic back to OnlyFans to make good money. Otherwise, you really won't do that well.
OnlyFans actually makes more money from those one-off purchases than it does from subscriptions.
And you can see how much it was, how many people viewed it, and how many purchased.
I think microtransactions are a sign of a deepening relationship. People pay good money for this stuff, whereas like, how many people have paid for cat videos?
And there's a lot of people that go on there just they want someone to talk to.
I would.
You know, they want that kind of like online girlfriend sort of like experience, or they want to like sort of chat about something that's gone on in their life or their day.
The company doesn't put a number on the average creator's earnings.
There are people who earn eye-wateringly large sums, there are people who earn a little bit, and there are people who are in between.
Even now, I've hit 1 million on there. I've come from being a secondary school teacher, being at the food bank, and that's why like I just don't take anything for granted. I always think you don't know what's around the corner. You don't know if you can have everything one moment and then have it all taken away from you.
Making sure creators get paid, no matter how much, has been a challenge for the business. Back in 2021, it was apparently so difficult.
Hopefully she invests that money because like she said, this could all be gone tomorrow. Who knows how long this could last for her? And like she said, there are dips and there are times where she's experiencing a lot of success. So hopefully she's taking this money and she is investing it well because, again, who knows how long it'll last. But she grossed over, what was it, $1.06 million? I don't know if that was in 1 year. So, I mean, come on. How many people in their lives are going to gross over $1 million in 1 year? We're talking less than 1% of the population of the world, let alone in the United States, where she's from, actually, probably not the US because her accent. Let's say UK. I mean, we're talking serious numbers here.
For OnlyFans to work with banks that its CEO at the time banned adult content. That decision was reversed just days later.
2021. So obviously it was before my time, and the company had grown exponentially over a very short period of time. I don't think there was a great level of understanding in the market about the sophistication of the controls that were in place at OnlyFans. And I think people frankly got a little spooked just by how big the company was and the amount of revenue being generated.
As for another ban,
we're definitely not banning adult content. No, easy.
Financial institutions can deem accounts associated with sex work as high risk and deny service or raise fees, partially due to the risk of platforming child abuse.
Absolutely, there is risk associated with some of those businesses, but there's often the same risk associated with general social media platforms as there are with OnlyFans.
Payment processors typically take a 1 to 3% cut of each transaction, but high-risk accounts can be charged more than 10% in fees. And payment processors say that's because adult merchants come with reputational risks, rampant fraud, and higher levels of customers disputing credit card purchases. So OnlyFans works with a combination of providers, which it says is to ensure global coverage.
This is my nerdy lawyer nature coming out, which is what matters is not the headline risk, it's the unmitigated risk that matters.
OnlyFans says it's now able to work with institutions that haven't traditionally worked with the adult industry because it's proven to them they've mitigated risk through safety controls.
Is there more work to do? Absolutely. Do some banks and financial services institutions still have an outdated risk model that they follow? Absolutely. In some cases, is that just a moral judgment call? Absolutely.
So this raises the issue of, okay, if it's individual creators that are creating content on OnlyFans, is it more likely that you have someone who is, say, under the age of 18 or under the age of majority or wherever they're located, and they are creating fake account or using fake IDs or creating fake accounts essentially with fake information, and they're posting content online underage? I mean, it does seem a little bit risky. So I get where the banks are coming from when they don't want to do transactions with these type of companies, or they're charging them much higher transaction fees. So, I mean, I guess it's just the nature of the business that they're in. They, on one side of it, they get to benefit from companies like Apple not putting them on their app store and keeping the extra 25 to 30% they will be paying to Apple. But on the flip side, they take a loss from having to pay extra fees to these banks because of the type of content that their platform is creating. So, you know, it's one of those things.
OnlyFans requires creators to submit more than 9 forms of ID to prove they're above 18 before they can post content. But it's a lot easier to create an account as a viewer. It took me just a couple minutes to set up a new account with an email address. Once I entered a payment method, I was prompted to scan my face using a program by Yoti in order to verify I'm over 18. And within seconds, I was able to subscribe to explicit accounts without providing any further forms of identification. OnlyFans says every piece of content is reviewed by a combination of automated and human checks designed to block certain words and non-consensual images. But the system isn't perfect. The company's UK regulator is investigating whether its face scanning system has done enough to prevent under 18s from accessing pornography. OnlyFans said fan verification varies depending on location, and that in all jurisdictions, they require fans to register with a valid payment card, confirm they're above 18, and accept the terms of service.
Keely talks about.
Okay, so this right here to me is a little bit less, okay, look, how are you going to stop people who are under the age of 18 from accessing content like this? That's like saying you're gonna stop people who are under 18 or 17 from sneaking into an R-rated movie. To try to mitigate, to try to reduce those type of things from happening, to me is like almost impossible. What's more important is reducing the chance of someone who's under 18 creating the content. That's a big thing right there. That, I'm happy they have, what was it, 8, 9 different types of protocols they follow to make sure the person's over 18. That is perfect. Now, making sure that a 16-year-old high school kid is not accessing OnlyFans, I mean, hey, good luck, but it just seems like it's something that can be difficult to do.
It's a very good game in terms of why there is a moral case for running the company the way that OnlyFans does. There's another reason that I think is a little more unspoken, which is that if you are directly taking a cut of money that is going toward pornography, you better be damn sure that money is going toward legal content and that the whole thing is exceedingly well lit and non-abusive.
Today, OnlyFans is pitching itself as one of the most lucrative choices for all types of creators across the $250 billion creator economy, recruiting athletes, comedians, and adult entertainers alike.
I do want to see more content creators from all verticals join the platform, but I want OnlyFans to be recognized as the incredible business success story that it is.
They really sort of have, to some degree, treated this as a business rather than as something dirty, and it doesn't really seem like anybody else is stealing it away from them.
If you want to hear more from OnlyFans CEO Keely Blair,
so there you have it. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Whether you agree with it or disagree with it from a moral standpoint, that's a different thing. For me personally, that's a whole different thing as well. I'm disconnecting the moral standpoint from the business model of it. Now, strictly speaking of OnlyFans as a company and a business model, I mean, it is pretty amazing. I mean, I won't lie. It's kind of, I'm amazed by it. Again, the morally speaking, you can feel how you feel, but from a standpoint of how successful they've become as a business, I have to commend them. And they mentioned that they want to try out new verticals, bringing in athletes, bringing in comedians, chefs, entertainers. Hey, I think they tried that, but at this point, I think it's already been labeled with the XXX content stamp. So I don't know how successful they'll be at doing that. But nonetheless, I wish them success as long as everything that they're doing is above board, legal, and there are no exploitation of minors or anyone against their will, which I know is something that's almost impossible to reduce 100%. So for that reason, I'm not really for it. But just from a business standpoint, from the numbers, from how they structure their company, where the creators go out and they bring back their followers and the amount of money they're bringing in, I mean, it really is something crazy. So with that being said, let me know in the comments what you think about the company, what's your thoughts about it, morally, amorally, from numbers perspective. Let me know, I'm interested to know. And with that being said, thank you for watching the video. If you stuck around this far, feel free to give the video a like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so too inclined. And until next time, make smart financial decisions.